Something that's always bugged me is VCRs that are missing the front cover. Kind of a shame this one's missing it, but hey, let's see what it does. Little tape indicator, and it's showing me. That's weird. I've got a switch here. Oh, there we go. Switch is just dirty. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Play. We got something. It sounds like the Hi-Fi track is on. This actually has minutes and seconds only in play mode for a counter, which is kind of cool. So fast forward. Play. Do I have sound? There's a good hum there. Got sound out of that. Oh yeah, there. That sounds really good. Pretty cool. Oh, and look at that. So, a little bit of an introduction here. This is the Toshiba model V-S36C, C being the Canadian version. And the best I can tell, this was the first beta Hi-Fi VCR made by Toshiba. The Betamax Collector's website dates at 1983. Earliest records I can find are very early 1984, like going on sale February, March of 1984, which pretty much puts this at the very early Hi-Fi days, because I'm pretty sure the Sony SL5200 was 1983, and that was like the first Hi-Fi VCR ever. So, you know, this is pretty old. And what's very cool, this is 4 video heads, which is not common for beta. So I don't know if we'll have to play around with this. I don't know if beta uses different video heads for playback or if it's just for special effects, because I have beta models that use the DA+1, which is like a equivalent of a 3-head in VHS. And that uses just 2 heads for playback and recording, but then has a 3rd head for good pause. So I hit pause here. Mono. Hi-Fi is working just fantastic. I just shut it off and on there. It's got a good, clean pause. Now, it has, of course I got the remote. Oh, I love having the remote. Let's see here. I can go to slow motion and hit slow. Now I'm in slow and I can adjust the speed. So I'll make it fast. Turn that up. How fast can I make this? That's pretty fast. That's not bad. And I can slow it down. And there's a tracking adjustment. So this has a digital tracking control for the slow motion tracking. So if I go and, yeah, see, I can move it that way. Or I can pull it back to get a perfectly clean slow motion. Let's hit 2 times. So this does the same thing the SL5200 does, the Sony. It plays the hi-fi audio on 2 times, but the picture is perfect on 2 times. Let me hit that again. So that's when I switch the hi-fi track or hi-fi audio off. You can hear the linear audio is obviously playing twice as fast. The motors are quite loud in here. I've done nothing to this, by the way. I just brought it home, inspected the inside, cleaned the front, because, you know, clean is nice, but that's it. Oh, I really have a soft spot for Toshibas. My other Toshiba is the V600C, which is a very basic model from the next model year. Very, very basic. But it's an absolute workhorse. So to find a 4-head Hi-Fi model that's based on the same, probably the same mechanism, when I take a look inside, an absolute tank. This is exciting. So if I go here, oh, it's hours and minutes. There's no seconds. So 1 minute has progressed. So if I go and hit play, and I fast forward, oh no, see, it's not available when I'm scanning, because I believe these don't use the pinch roller in Capstan for fast forward and rewind scans. So yeah, it just freewheels. So it just resets. Okay, this is a neat feature, I guess. Auto find, what is that? So memory, auto find. I'll have to look in the manual to see what that is. This is old enough that the Q and review buttons are separate from fast forward and rewind. If I hit fast forward, goes into fast forward, but I'm now on the tuner.
When's everything starting?
We're almost there.
That guy keeps...
Damn, look at the special effects on this beauty. This impresses me. And its longevity too. What else we got? Done slow. It's got audio dub. So obviously linear audio only. So same thing on here. If I hit fast forward, it just starts fast forwarding. Let's take a look at the front here. So we've got the tracking control. Let's hit play here. It's to one side, center. That's all the way to the other side.
I thought I heard somebody saying something about seeing somebody dance. Something about doing something.
That's the worst they could make it. Damn. Maybe this does use different heads for playback, because that would imply this has beta 2 with heads, right? Because like having that much room on the tracking control, that's a wide range there. Cool. That almost sounds like the video head drum's getting a little noisy. So switches on the front, we got the record speed. Interestingly, it says long play there, which doesn't really have a place in the beta ecosystem, but you know, this is verbiage that the consumer would understand. Beta Hi-Fi, turning it on and off. So I think if I hit play and I turn it off, that light will shut off.
I didn't hear nothing about this. I didn't hear nothing. Didn't anybody come here tonight to see some...
Yep. We got, so this is the simulcast control. I have it set to line. So if I hit stop here, the audio is coming from the line in, but I can switch it to TV. Or I can go to full line in, where, you know, obviously it'll blank out. What else we got? So this is the control for the output. So if I hit play again here, I can switch it. Right now it's left/right, which would be stereo. You can have both channels be tied to the right, or both channels tied to the left. And then beta on Hi-Fi on and off, you can go to mix, which mixes the linear audio with Hi-Fi. Now I wonder how that's going to sound. Also, this kind of feels like a 3-position switch. Like, that's a proper 2-position. It's got kind of a middle spot. Okay, well, let's see what this does.
What was that? I can't even hear anybody out there.
80s this movie is. This is the perfect thing to test it out on. A rap stravaganza movie with dynamic music and spectacular dance sequences, I'm assuming. Oh yeah. This is fantastic. MCML, what would that be? 1984? Yeah, it's pretty period appropriate for this. Carrying on with the switches, you have KTV and standard for the tuner. There's a little KTV indicator there. I just have it on standard, and there's an auto program button. Where was that? Is that here? Oh no, here we are, auto memory. So I pressed this, and that went and programmed the whole tuner for me automatically. So now it's got all my channels. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah. Oh, you can change the channel while it's in play mode. Okay. MFT up and down. I think that might be manual fine tuning. I can play with that. Actually, yeah. Let's see here. So we've got. Let's adjust
that
up.
really took my mind off those awful transforming space mutants.
Yeah.
Good. Man, I could sure go for a snack. Me too.
Go the other way. So, how do I reset it? I guess I don't.
Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't the three of us go spit on the principal's car? Listen, Bart, there's such a thing as spending...
Or I can directly tune a channel. Oops, 0. Go to 16. And then all your normal controls here. Mute that. RF modulator out. Stop, record, pause, still, play. Fast forward and rewind scan. Fast forward and rewind normal. It's got an indicator for 2 times, so that's only on the remote. Indicator for hi-fi. This has a deuce sensor, like the Panasonics of the time. Your counter controls, you have a reset, memory, auto find, which I don't know what that means yet. And this really only works, the Betamax Collector's website, he mentions, yeah, that's a real-time counter, but only in play mode. So it'll really only give you a time from when you hit play to this moment. The moment you change anything, fast forward, rewind, stop, then this resets. So kind of a useful feature, I guess, but it's got direct tuning, like a PLL synthesized or whatever, you know. And behind this little door, we have the clock setting buttons, and also for setting your timer. I believe this has like a 14-day, 8-event timer. Like it's pretty substantial. It would have said on this door if I had it. Oh yeah, it'll say right here. Really? No? That's pretty standard features to advertise, Toshiba. Clean editing system. Wonder what that's about. New fashionable design. I guess for late 83, early 84, it's a pretty sexy design, I gotta say. This is in line with, there's the M30 and M32. Very common VCRs. I see a lot of them. I don't see this one very often. I imagine it probably cost a fortune for all the features in it, so didn't sell all that many. Let's take a look under the hood. So, man, I wish I remembered what my V600 looked like inside, but I believe this is pretty similar. There's a loading belt here that seems to do just fine right now. And you can kind of see this motor. Let's see if I can adjust the brightness. I can't really see it. There's a belt, looks like a flat belt through that hole. Flat belt, meaning that might be driving the capstan. Yeah, I mean, it's old enough where we didn't have the pancake motors for capstan, so that might be the case. And for loading the tape, there's the loading mechanism over here. So it's got a shaft. Oh, okay, so there's a belt here as well. Let's get some light over here. You can see that motor drives that wheel that goes on this shaft to there, to there, to there. You know, for its age and the amount of features it has, it's, you know, fairly easy to access everything here. This is all well laid out. Probably have stacks of boards on the side here. Got this top board. What else we got here? Oh, wow. 2, possibly 3? Oh, wow, that's 4 boards. So there's this board, then there's a board below it that's the traces are facing up, and then there's another board with the traces facing down, and another board with the traces facing down. That is dense. That's where all the magic is hidden. So this section probably peels up and hinges. I'm not going to touch this. If it's working, Toshiba stuff is just solid. I'll just leave it. I don't think I've run into any bad caps in Toshibas of this age. They just tend to work. Looking back here, that's a pretty wacky looking transformer. It's very shallow. Like, it's not very deep. It sticks out on either side like that. And that's definitely where all the power happens. Yeah. And we've got these cables, which just kind of go right past the transformer and then go over down to here. And that looks like the RF section down there. So we got AV. Ooh. I feel some good heat over here. Yeah, there's some excellent heat coming off this. So, okay, so this is the, you know, transformer where stuff first comes in, AC comes in, steps down, then it scoops over here to the cleaning, regulation, whatever. You can see there's the 4 diodes for a bridge rectifier and probably a bunch of big ass caps. Not sure if this is necessarily part of the power supply. Might all be down in that little shielded box. It's vented nicely. It's got the little, I like these little springs that hold a wire for the cassette basket. Oh, it's got that little, yeah, little spring there. Let's watch that when I hit eject. So we'll... Oh, it's wonderful. Put the tape in. I mean, other than some lubrication, which I think this would need, I don't even think I need to touch the belts on this. I think I'm going to leave it. Let's try a Beta 3 tape. So I'll take that and use one of my favorite cassettes. Play.
Even enjoy a letter from home anymore.
Oh, this is recorded off antenna.
What the hell?
Oh, that's horrible. You can't see it, but there is a lot of jitter between fields. So first off, this is a bad example. Someone recorded this off of antenna. And the quality's quite crap. Let's... And special effects look good, but why is this so bad? What channel would they have recorded that was this fuzzy? Well, shoot, listen to this. Ah, I sure hope it's not a rotary transformer like that other VCR I was playing with. This is not a very common head, because this being a 4-head beta. That's not good. That's a better tape to test this on. Beta 3 recordings are, you know, they're all going to be off TV and they're pretty hit or miss. That is a strong motor in there. It's not like the VHS ones you can slow down with your finger. The noise seems to go away once it's spinning, but it does concern me that if a trace has let go or is rubbing, that using this too much might damage it. So I'll have to make all these tests pretty brief before I go in there. But damn, like, look at those special effects. Let's go to 2x speed. Adjust the tracking. Gotta adjust the tracking again. Go to slow. So I'll adjust the tracking again. Looks like there's a lot of playing with the... Oop, that makes it worse. A lot of playing with the tracking on these features. There may just always be a bit of noise up there. And that actually could be related to that rubbing if one of the windings on the rotary transformer is for the Beta 3 head. We're seeing a bit of noise there like that. Still pretty good though. Clean it up. Oh yeah, no, never mind. Just talking up my ass. That is perfect. Now I'm going to turn the volume down here. Listen to how loud it gets when I put it in 2x. I think it's this motor. Something gets a little noisy. When I go down to play, it's just fine. But, you know, other than the usual dropouts on an old tape, this is great. This is absolutely great. I want to test the recording on this. I'm going to do a recording and playback test on this. Haven't done that in a while. And maybe I will compare this to my trusty SL2710. This is a DA +1, basically a 3-head model, I believe. Pretty sure this is a 3-head. So this would, you know, give good special effects. Honestly, the special effects are not as good on this as they are on this. This is just really, really damn impressive. But yeah, I can try getting the pre-recorded tape and just doing a couple segments of playback to just, like, it won't give a really good side-by-side comparison. You'll be watching this, you know, poorly digitized and then put onto YouTube, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But I just want to see how this one compares, because I'm really liking this thing. If I can get past this scraping sound, if I can figure out what that is in the video head, this might become my next daily driver for stuff. Except for that missing door, that would drive me nuts. So in preparation for some test recordings, I don't want to use the tuner because this is kind of a weak tuner. There's a lot of noise on it compared to other machines I've used. It doesn't really pull in great reception. So I've hooked a DVD player up to it, and I've realized I was mistaken in how this input switch works. This only goes between audio from the TV, audio from the line, and audio only. So having plugged in the DVD player, regardless of the position of the switch, the video takes over as soon as I plug the DVD player. Like if I unplug the video on the back here, it'll go to the tuner. So the video takes over automatically like other older VCRs of this era. But the audio is switchable. So here, TV means the audio is coming from TV. So I turn the volume up. Where we got here? Let's go to a channel that's got audio. If I go to line, it's the audio from the DVD. There's no audio playing right now. And if I go to audio only, that goes to line in, but there's no video. It blanks the video. So the idea being you using this VCR just to record audio, you know, hi-fi, just putting some music on a tape. So this input switch is only for the audio. So let me get something set up on here.
Without further ado, I give you the man who puts young people behind bars, where they belong. TV's Matlock.
Lisa, I know you like reading and so forth. To you, I give you my lifetime of personal correspondence.
Thanks. Mr. Simpson, stop. Your constant letters are becoming a nuisance.
The recording's okay. The chroma seems to be a bit of an issue. You notice those color lines, especially recording in Beta 3, and I tried recording off the tuner and it won't even lock the color signal in, so there's some circuitry that's gone a little awry.
There's a burning issue that we need to address and neutralize immediately.
I hate that fish.
Thank you for watching Movie for a Dreary Afternoon.
Hey, you with the teeth. Come here. Come over here. That's better. Now I can see you. You know me? Of course you do. That's because I'm famous.
This is another tape in the period-appropriate tape testing, 1984.
So you don't have to be famous to get respect. You just have to be somebody.
Taking a quick look at the bottom here. This is different than a lot of what you'll see on the bottom of older VCRs. Well, newer ones, obviously, there's no panel that comes off. It's all inside, but newer being 90s. 80s VCRs typically had like one big panel that would come off. This has a cover here and a cover down here. But all of this is part of the big steel chassis, so you can't just remove the whole thing. So if I want access here, all I do, and I think this is the only one I've tightened. All right, now that I've loosened the screws, and I just need to loosen them, I can lift this panel off and gain access. So if I want to do any troubleshooting, probe any of these points here, at least on this bottom board, and it looks like these screws here, there's 4 screws, will lift this one out so I can gain access behind it too. So let me pop this. Oh, bodge diodes. Those were important. Yep, there we go. Now, the bottom one. This is underneath the tape mechanism. It's very difficult to do one-handed. And there we go. That's all you get access to. And this is very similar to the V600 that I did a video on a long time ago. It's a very basic Toshiba model from 84. So about a year newer than this one. Very simplified, but very reliable. This has the same design. So you have this motor at the back here, and that drives your capstan. So this is the flywheel for the capstan. Here's your video head motor. And underneath here is going to be your, I guess in the beta world you call it the pendulum, that drives your reel tables. And I believe that's direct drive as well. Looks like there's a motor under here, but that would be a heck of a thing to get access to, so we're just going to ignore that. Kind of neat the effort to go through, though, to have these little access doors versus just pull the whole thing off, which would make servicing easier too. I don't know. And having a quick gander at the back end here, it does have a unswitched, to say, only with 3 amp load. It doesn't say if it's probably unswitched. It doesn't say switched, so outlet to plug your TV into. Older VCRs used to have that. A lot of them did. You know, if you didn't have an extra outlet available. That was done away with when they started cost cutting. Model number, the audio and video in-out, your combined UHF and VHF, which is very nice. It's interesting how some early machines combined the UHF and VHF antennas to one connector, and some kept it separate until like the mid to late 80s, really. And RF modulator output and a remote pause for the camera. And that's it. Pretty basic on the back. Let's take a quick look at the manual. I'm curious what that auto find feature is, what they mean by a clean editing system. Oh, it folds out. So everything it comes with, matching transformer, antenna splitter, antenna cable, quick reference card I don't have, safety instructions, so we're all going to die, batteries, a cassette tape, I do have the remote, and an audio and video cable. Ooh, nice. This is atypical for VCRs of the time, and even later ones, really. Got a nice table of contents here, antenna connections, television connections, cable antenna connection for somebody who had cable TV and an antenna setup. Cable antenna no converter. Telecaption, yeah. A closed caption device. Setting your television channel on the back. The setting the clock. Synthesizer tuner. Yep. Pretty simple to use compared to the old varactor diode tuners. I'll shut this light off. Let's see if that helps. Problem with these reflective manuals is very hard to film without getting washed out there. Making a simple recording. So all the features, the buttons, cassette indicator lamp, do indicator, beta hi-fi. Oh, here we go. So, where is the button that I care about? Here, auto find. With this switch on, the tape automatically stops at the beginning of each as the beginning of each recording is reached in the With both the auto find and counter mem switches off, the tape will be rewound to the beginning. So, hold on. Used for tape counter memory operation, yeah. So does this have an indexing feature? I'm going to test that out at the very, very end here because, you know, VHS JVC had index, I think in 1984. So this would have been the competitor to indexing. And I've seen this on a lot of Toshiba Betamax, or Beta, not Betamax, VCRs. So let's try that out. Front panel controls, input selector, selects input sources for recording. Now this is kind of a lie. It's only audio, except this position which blanks the TV. Wait, no, that one which blanks the TV. Audio output, beta hi-fi and mix. Audio dub, yeah, tracking. It's all pretty straightforward. I've actually seen some older Toshiba Beta VCRs that have an LP light that referred to Beta 3 as long play. Because I think Toshiba came around when Beta 2 came out. So they never released any Beta 1 only machines. They started in Beta 2. And then when Beta 3 came out, they called it LP on some of their machines. I'll show an image here. It's kind of interesting. And very confusing for the consumer. Oh God, very confusing. The remote control, which is a pretty hefty remote. The later Toshiba remotes were simplified a lot. Like the V600, the V650 and 700, and you know, that really basic one. I think even the VS43 and 44, the later Hi-Fi one, had that same simple remote. So this one's got a much more capable remote. Editing, recording, audio dubbing, recording one, using a camera, programmable timer. Yeah, we don't care about any of that. Hey, it's me again, interjecting. Did you notice something? Because I missed it when I was recording this bit with the manual. Look closer. That's right. The picture search can be adjusted by the speed control. And it's indicated with these little lines here that go both to slow motion and speed and picture search. So Let's give that a try here. We are fast forwarding. I'm adjusting the speed. Whoa! Listen to that sucker go. And look, if you can count the lines, that seems to be around 20 times. And I can slow it down. Slow more. And I think it said 5 times. That is damn cool.
What do you do? What?
Proper variable speed picture search. I'm going to try that on a Beta 3 tape. Okay, we're fast forwarding. Let's crank up the speed. You see, it kind of remembered my 5x from before. Motor doesn't sound as crazy because this is 20x on Beta 3, so it's obviously not going as fast. But it's going, you know, conveniently fast. So let me slow down. Ah, that is cool. And there we go. Now back to the manual, already in progress. This goes into a lot of detail. A time tape counter chart. Oh, getting reflection there. Get out of here. That's pretty neat. So this will tell you what the counter says based on the tape and the position of the tape. Because it's a non-linear counter, right? It's measuring the supply reel. And as tape moves off that supply reel, it's going to move faster and faster, which is going to change how much time each rotation represents. That's why a linear counter or a real-time counter makes a lot more sense, because that measures the movement based on tracking pulse counts. So that can figure out exactly the time that's passed. How to install batteries. 30 degrees in either. I don't think I've seen a manual get this specific about like using the remote. Variable search, double speed, forward slow. We've used all that. Beta Hi-Fi. So this is speccing out the audio quality here. So the frequency range, 20 to 20 kilohertz, yeah, that's standard for Beta Hi-Fi. And it's saying 50 to 8 kilohertz and 50 to 7 kilohertz. I'm pretty sure that's a lot better than VHS. I'm pretty sure SLP or EP on VHS is worse than this. I'll have to look it up. Maybe I'll insert it here. Your connections with your fancy video monitor. Oh, that look, yeah, that looks like the Toshibas of the time. Those look really cool. Toshiba TVs. How to operate switches playing. Monaural sound will not be played. Okay, so it actually shows the tracks on the tape here in a diagram to show what it will do with your beta mix, Beta Hi-Fi or mix, and your left-right switches. That's pretty cool. This goes into a lot of cool detail in here. Record tab, do warning, troubleshooting, and specifications. 27 pounds. She's hefty. Video in and out. It's 1 volt peak to peak, standard stuff. And there we go. And of course, because I'm in Canada, the other side is French. 6 moteurs. This is indexing, but now that I think about it, I do remember seeing a Spatzbear video on a high-end Zenith. I believe it was a clone of like a Sony SL5800, and that had a form of indexing on it. So it's not new to the beta world, but it's pretty cool that this Toshiba has it. So I have it turned on here. So let's hit play. Let's see what's on the tape right here. First recording.
I'm thirsty. Ooh, what smells like mustard?
So I'm going to hit stop, and I'm going to hit fast forward. And let's see where it takes me. Took me somewhere. Okay, hit play.
Fire me if I don't vote for her. I'm Termonti.
That was the second test recording I did.
At our table, I feel like a Kennedy. Well, frankly, I don't see how one of the most despicable.
So now I'm going to hit fast forward again. I've made some subsequent test recordings. I doubt they're going to be in color. Well, the first one was a black and white TV show. So let's test that. This should be Get Smart.
But it can be used to demonstrate how the basic principle of thermal concentricity holds true. Actually, the dynamics of...
And this was recorded in, like, this is a black and white episode of the show. So that's expected. Now, I'll hit fast forward again. Hit play. Oh, see, that recorded in color. I wonder if it's just because I messed with the fine tuning. That's why the color was having trouble. That looks just fine. Yeah, that looks great. You'll see with the captures I did earlier, it's not the best when you actually start playing it back, but it's pretty decent just, you know, watching on a TV and everything. I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of noise you see along the edge here and everything, but overall, I mean, this is beta 2, so the picture's better, but look at the pause in beta 2. But yeah, so that's the auto find feature. It's basically the equivalent of indexing on VHS machines, and I guess it was called indexing on Sony Betamax and Zenith as well. One last thing I want to show that's really cool. Look at this display when I plug it in. 60 hertz. Now, I just showed some video of me plugging this in for the first time, and it would flash 60 hertz. Interestingly enough, it's not doing that to me anymore. When I leave it unplugged and plug back in, it just goes right to flashing the clock. I suspect that the clock circuitry in this uses the line frequency to keep time. And the clock circuitry in here was probably designed to work with 50 or 60 hertz, you know, being Japanese made, and Japan is both 50 and 60 hertz. The power supply in here was most likely made only for 120 volts 60 hertz, as the label says on the back. But I bet you there is an AC, non-regulated filtered line, like drop down maybe 5 volts or 9 volts AC, that gets supplied to the clock circuit so that it can keep time. And so when it first plugged in, it auto detects whether it's 50 or 60 hertz and displays so on the front. That way they didn't have to make two different clocks as well. It's just the power supply that changes. That's my theory. Now, as to why it doesn't flash again, there could be a capacitor or a supercapacitor or something that holds that information for a while. And it obviously won't keep the clock, but it would be enough to keep that one setting. Anyway, that was just a fun look at this fairly high-end Toshiba Beta VCR from 1983 that I'm pretty happy with. The scraping in the video head has gone away, but I may come back to that and do a video if the scraping returns, disassembling it and checking the rotary transformer. I'd rather not do that because I'm very unfamiliar with beta heads and I don't want to mess it up, but if it starts again, that will need to happen, or, you know, it could damage itself further. But in the meantime, this thing's just working great, so thanks for watching. And if anyone knows where I can find a door, sometimes parts show up on eBay, I didn't see any. If anyone knows where I can find a door for this, please let me know, because this is driving me nuts.
Now everybody's got their time to play, but I'll hit it up.